Hello, I'm Sifu Lamar M. Davis II. I would like to welcome you to the video series, Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do Complete. This is the most in-depth series ever completed on Bruce Lee's fighting method, covering everything from all three phases of Bruce's development: the Seattle phase, the Oakland phase, and the LA Chinatown phase. If you've already seen the first 6 volumes, then you're ready for the next volumes, which are covering energy and sensitivity training along with trapping hands. So this is the area that you commonly hear referred to as sticking and trapping. Okay, Bruce Lee placed a lot of emphasis on the sticking and trapping hands. And it is this aspect of Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do that draws most people to this art. In the next few volumes, we will cover, as in-depth as possible, all of the energy and sensitivity drills, the sticking hand movements, and the trapping hand movements that make Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do such a formidable fighting method. In the Seattle period, Bruce Lee taught primarily Wing Chun. It's Bruce's background in Wing Chun that gave him this incredible energy and sensitivity capability. His sticking hand skills were developed to such a level that there were very few that could even touch him during sticking hands. And as soon as the opening was there, he was on top of you so fast that there was nothing you could do. In the Oakland phase, the sensitivity drills broadened and flourished, and there was even more emphasis on energy and sensitivity. By the time the Chinatown phase began, the energy and sensitivity drills were developed to a very high skill level. Certain students during the Chinatown period were well known for developing a great deal of skill at the energy and sensitivity drills for sticking and trapping hands. Okay, it's very important that you understand that these energy drills are to help you sense, detect, feel the energy of your opponent. There are several different types of energy that you may encounter in a conflict. Now, the question that a lot of people have had about these energy and sensitivity drills is, what good are they? Because when you get in a fight with someone, you do not come up and engage hands and start to stick hands with them, or you do not come up and engage hands, as you saw Bruce Lee do with Bob Wall in Enter the Dragon, and start to fight. And you can't, of course, say, no, that's not how we're going to fight. You have to engage my energy before we begin. See, a lot of people, when they see these drills, they look at these drills in an unrealistic way. They don't see the practicality and the effectiveness of the drill because they look no further than what they see in the drill itself. The applications for these energy and sensitivity drills are many and varied. And it is these drills that take the skills that you learn in volumes 1 through 6 to the highest level. So, I hope you'll enjoy the second phase of the series, which covers energy, sensitivity, and trapping. Hello, I'm Sifu Lamar M. Davis II. I'd like to welcome you to Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do Complete, Volume 7, Energy, Sensitivity 1. One of the questions that I, as a martial arts instructor, am most often asked is, what is energy and sensitivity training? Every offensive movement, every defensive movement has a certain type of energy. Sensitivity training is necessary so that you can understand these energies upon contact with them. In Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do, we strive to develop what is known as contact reflex, which is the ability for you to react immediately, just upon touch with your opponent, to whatever energy he may be giving, whether offensive or defensive. Without this sensitivity to this energy, you cannot achieve a high level of skill with the tools that you learned about in volumes 1 through 6. So, energy and sensitivity training is an extremely necessary and extremely important part of Jeet Kune Do. In fact, it could be referred to as the heart of the system. Okay, basically there are 3 kinds of energy that you encounter. You have what we refer to as a pressing energy, a static energy, or a yielding energy. These energies can be present in both offense and defense. At this time, I'll be joined by my assistant, Mr. Mark Turquette, and we will demonstrate for you some of these energies and some of the applications of the sensitivity drills as far as practical application goes. Okay, on guard. If I were to throw a quachoy or back fist at Mr. Turquette and he were to block it like so, and he feels the pressing energy, but if he is static, I cannot get through. Okay? If he yields to the energy, I can go on through and collapse his defense with my attack and score the back fist anyway. Alright? However, if he's completely static on me here, if I feel that upon contact, my quachoid contacts, and I feel a complete static energy here, I have several options. To continue the flow, I must immediately flow around this static energy, or what we have here is an obstacle on the center line. So I can either flow around it or I can remove the obstacle with a Pak Sao, like so. Pak Sao or slap hand. Okay, so if I were to throw my back fist and he were to block with the static energy, I can deliver the Pak Sao and follow through with a punch. Okay, like so. Okay, or I could go around the static energy. I throw my back fist, he blocks. I go around the static energy. This movement is called a Jiao Sao, or running hand, also sometimes referred to as a circling palm. Okay, so from here, I come around, using the Pak Sao as a check, in this case, as I land the palm strike to the jaw of Mr. Turquette, or to the ear. Okay, now, if I were to throw a straight punch, and he were to block the straight punch, like so. Once again, we have the static energy. So, I have a choice here. I can either remove the obstacle with a Pak Sao, or I can use a Lop Sao, which is a grabbing hand here, and fire a Chung Choi, or vertical fist punch of my own. Okay? That would be another way to deal with this. Or from the straight punch position, immediately run the hand and fire the palm strike into Mark's head. Okay, now, if he were to fire a punch, a straight punch, at my face, okay, like so, alright, and I were to parry with my rear hand, what we call a Woang Pak, or cross slap, like so, this would be dissolving his pressing energy, okay, so, he fires a punch, the punch has a definite pressing energy. I dissolve the energy with the Woang Pak, or cross slap. Now it's very important here that you observe the rules that you learned earlier of economy of movement, economy of motion. You don't want to waste anything here. When he fires the punch, if I push him way out here, I essentially have trapped myself. I've cut off the use of my lead hand. The idea here would be to be able to continue and use my lead hand in some way. Okay? So, if I waste motion, I cut myself off. I would have to come back over my own arm to be able to land an attack. That would take too much time. That would give him time to do something else. So it's very important that you economize your motion. Okay? So when the punch comes, I simply parry it with a Woang Pak, and I don't waste anything. Then if I wanted to, I could go directly from there with a finger jab, follow up with a Fook Sao, and hit him with a back fist. Okay? Speed that up a little bit, give you some idea of what it would look like if it were quicker. Okay, from here, I could go into grappling with an arm bar and use a lower body tool, the knee smash, to destroy the shoulder. Okay? That would just be some examples of some of the follow-ups that would be capable there. Okay. If you were to fire a rear hand punch at my head, like so, this has a definite pressing energy coming into me. Okay? In this case, I use the Bong Sao or wing arm to dissolve that energy. I don't stop him, I just dissolve that energy. Okay? Now, another choice I would have, and you probably pick this up in tape number 6, would be rear hand straight punch coming in. I could simply intercept with a sliding leverage bilging. But still, I'd have to understand that energy to be able to effectively use that sliding leverage. Alright, another type of energy that is very similar to, and in fact is a type of pressing energy, would be springing energy. Okay? This would be where if he were to punch with this hand and I were to parry, I could jut style, jerking hand, I could jut this arm down and then fire right off of that. Okay, now what I would be doing, I would be pulling down so I could slide straight in. Okay, so I'm springing off of his arm with my own punch. Okay, now, by the same token, he could use springing energy there. When I do the jut sow and I start to fire my punch, he could spring load when I jut him and he could punch me using sliding leverage with the same arm while I'm trying to deliver a punch. So in other words, it's just here. Okay, I jut, he punches, he beats me to the punch using his springing energy, springing off of my jut sow. Okay, so that's two ways that the springing energy can work off of that. He punches, I parry, I spring and punch. He punches, I parry, I jut, then he springs off of that and punches. Okay? So that would be some examples of some of the applications of springing energy. Okay, so basically, on an attack, if he were to attack, I can dissolve the energy, okay? Like so, just simply dissolve the energy with a parry, or dissolve the energy with an attack, like that if I wish. Or, if he were to punch here, I could go this way and dissolve the energy with a movement like a Bong Sao. But at any rate, what I'm doing, I'm dissolving this energy. Okay? I'm allowing him to continue, and I'm moving just enough to make him miss. Just enough to dissolve that energy. Okay, so if I were to punch at him, and he would give me a static energy, I can remove the obstruction with a trapping movement, such as Pak Sao, or Lop Sao, like so. Or I can go around it. So I just continue the flow and go around it with a jiao sao. From here, off of this hit, I could come in, trap, headbutt, and elbow smash, like so, if I wanted to. Just continuing the flow. Thank you, Mark. This is a basic explanation of the three types of energy and what you might do off of encountering these in either an offensive or defensive situation. In the next sequence, we'll show you some basic, some simple energy drills. The first simple energy drill that we're going to do deals with the Tan Sao. Okay, you have to understand how all of the defensive moves apply in certain energy situations. So, we have to learn how to apply the Tan Sao to deflect energy off the center line. Now, in using the Tan Sao, or palm up hand, what I do, I simply rotate the wrist, turning the palm up. The thumb is tucked, and I will exert slight forward energy, but it's going to be more of a static energy than a pressing energy that would push on into my opponent. Seen from the side, it would look like so. Okay, so I move my hand onto the center line, and I deflect the energy off the center. Therefore, I occupy the center. Okay, at this time, my assistant Mark will join me, and we will demonstrate just a basic Tan Sao energy drill that will help you to understand the energy of the Tan Sao. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to snap straight punches, just real quick, snapping, center line straight punches, back and forth at each other with the lead hand. Okay, now, as Mark fires his punch, I'm going to turn my wrist, like I told you before. I'm going to rotate my wrist. My palm is going to be up. I'm going to be right on the center line, therefore deflecting him off center. Okay, then we return to the starting position, which is, by the way, what we refer to as a lead hand, outer wrist, high line engagement. Okay, then I'll snap a punch, and Mark will exert the slight forward energy on the center line and snap into his Tan Sao position. Okay, let you see it from another angle. Okay, the idea here is when his punch comes in, do not yield to that pressure by bending and giving. Exert forward, springy type energy on the center line, directly into his center to deflect the punch. Like so. Don't yield. This is what we call a yielding Tan Sao. This will get you in trouble real quick. This is dangerous because at this point, you do not have good control of the center line and your lead elbow has been pushed into your body. It's very easy for him to collapse his lead elbow and smash me because I yielded to his energy. So when he fires the punch, it's very important that I deflect his energy with that slight forward center line pressure and that outward snap of the wrist. Okay, so once again, the drill. Like so. Thank you, Mark. That is a very simple energy sensitivity drill to help you understand the Tan Sao and how it works to deflect energy off the center line. In the next sequence, we're going to show you a drill using the Bong Sao. In this sequence, we're going to show you a simple energy drill using the Bong Sao or wing arm, which works like so. Notice, slight turn from the waist and hips into the movement. Bong Sao is a parry. It deflects energy. Okay? So this is a good way to yield and dissolve energy using the Bong Sao or wing arm. Seen from the side, looks like so. Notice that the rear hand maintains a good Wu Sao position. Wu Sao is protective hand. Okay, notice it maintains a good Wu Sao position to back the Bong Sao up in case of failure. At this time, Mark's going to join me again. And we're going to show you two different applications for basic sensitivity training the Bong Sao. Okay, the first one, you'll face your partner, each of you in the opposite lead. You'll engage power side forward, outer wrist to inner wrist, okay? Then your partner will throw a punch right at your face and you'll deflect it with the Bong Sao. Once again, emphasizing the slight turn from the waist. Notice in the Bong Sao position, the wrist is lower than the elbow and the elbow is slightly higher than the shoulder. That's very important for proper deflection. Okay? Okay? That's a very simple drill. Another drill that we do that's a little bit more complicated, but still on a simple level, we square off. Okay? Extend the hands with the elbows clearly in front of the body. Back up just a little bit. Okay? Now, this is our position for this drill. Alright, notice that our elbows lead the body. That's very important. You don't want the elbows jammed into the body. Okay, so this is our starting position. Alright, now, Mark will alternate punches. Okay, he'll fire a punch right at the center line, which I'll deflect with a Bong Sao. Notice the turn at the waist and hips. It's important here that the punch be fired directly at the center line. That's what makes the drill work effectively. To give you some idea of that, we're going to show you this drill on an angle so that you can better see the deflection. Once again, notice the turning of the waist and the hips into the movement. That's very important to get proper energy into your Bong Sao movement. Okay, those are two simple drills that you can do to develop your skill with the Bong Sao. Alright, in the next sequence, we'll take you a little bit further into simple energy drills. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate a simple energy drill to develop your ability with your Woang Pak, or cross slap. Alright, from the fighting stance, the Woang Pak is just a simple movement just across the center line. Very little actual movement. Just across the center line. Nothing wasted. No wasted movement, no wasted energy. Okay, at this time Mark will join me and we're going to demonstrate one of the simple drills that we use for developing your skill, your sensitivity with the Woang Pak. Okay, now, notice that my palm contacts Mark's wrist. His palm contacts my wrist. Okay, we both have our power side forward here. Okay, now, Mark is going to deliver a straight punch at my face. I'm going to allow his arm to slide. Okay, now, as he slides, I'm going to maintain my contact and I'm going to try to end up with my palm right at Mark's elbow. This is very important for controlling the center line. I want to be able to control the center line. Alright, now, once again, we run into a problem here if I ride it in other words, if his punch comes in and I use my Woang Pak here, my face is exposed to his lead elbow. Okay, that's a devastating strike, a lead elbow to the face. So, the last thing I would want to do would be to collapse here and put myself in a position where Mark could collapse his elbow and fire it right into my face. Alright, so it's very important here that you slide and end up at the elbow, like so. Okay, now we're just going to trade these off. Okay, I'll punch first, then Mark will punch, then I'll punch. Now, occasionally during these drills, it's very important that you break up your timing, break up your rhythm, so it doesn't get monotonous and it doesn't get like you're just turning these out like a production line, because then you don't really have so much sensitivity as you do timing, okay? You can time these drills if there's no broken rhythm or broken timing during the drill. So you want to just kind of break it up and hesitate a little bit, make your partner wait on it, make him guess when it's coming. That way he has to react with sensitivity. Okay. Okay, notice, once again, at the elbow. Okay, we'll show you from the other side. Okay, this time Mark will punch first. Notice once again we end up at the elbow with the Woang pot position. Okay, notice that by the hands being very close, there's not that much time to react. You have to be very quick with this. Thank you, Mark. That's a basic drill that we use to develop the Woang Pak. In the next sequence, we'll show you a simple drill for developing the Huen Sao, or circling wrist. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate a simple energy drill for developing the Huen Sao, or circling wrist, also sometimes referred to as the circling hand. This movement simply is used to break an engagement and go from the inside to the outside, or from the outside to the inside. It's a simple movement, just circling the wrist, yielding to the energy and circling the wrist, just dissolving. Okay, just dissolving and circling. Very simple drill. Seen from the side, the movement is like so. Very simple. Similar to a fencer engaging and disengaging his foil using small circles. Okay. At this time, Mark will join me and we'll demonstrate the drill. Alright, we start off facing each other. Okay, same side forward. Alright, now, Mark will exert slight pressure against my wrist. I will use the Huen Sao to come to the inside. Now he will exert slight inward pressure. I will use the Huen Sao to come to the outside. Then I will exert slight pressure, and once again slight pressure. Then it's his turn, and it's my turn. Okay, notice how simple this drill is in application. It's a very simple drill. This is one of the drills that we refer to as a finesse drill. It develops the ability to use that hand with finesse. In other words, not just a rough disengagement, circle, re-engage, but just a slight movement, just a movement of finesse. Okay, in the next sequence, we'll show you the last of these simple energy drills. In this segment, we're going to show you a drill that develops the Fook Sao. Fook Sao means bent wrist, elbow in position. Okay, this is another movement deflecting energy inward toward the center line, like so. Okay, the lead arm is the most common use of the Fook Sao. Okay, the rear arm, you'll occasionally use the Fook Sao to deflect and maintain one of your opponent's limbs while you deliver an attack of your own. Also, there's a movement called Fook Da, which is where you use the Fook Sao to deflect and then you fire an attack right off of that deflection. Okay, this drill is to develop the sensitivity into the Fook Sao. At this time, Mark will join me and we'll demonstrate the drill. Okay, now we're going to move just slightly here, slight movement. Okay, now first we're going to alternate. Mark will first fire right, then he'll fire left. We'll just alternate And I use the Fook Sao to deflect the hand that's coming at my chest. Notice that we square up. That way neither side is favored and both sides have equal reach. Okay. Now, this time we're going to break it up. I don't know whether he's coming with the right or the left. He may hesitate, he may pause, he may break the rhythm, he may break the timing in the drill. That way I don't know what to expect and I have to react to what is instead of what should be. In other words, reality. Okay, I think you can see the effectiveness of this drill for developing the sensitivity into the Fook Sao movement. In the next sequence, we're going to show you a drill that's called the Lop Sao switch drill. In this sequence, we're going to demonstrate the first of our major energy drills. This is a finesse drill. It's called a Lop Sao switch drill. Okay, it's possible when someone tries to grab you to use a Huen Sao to break the grip. Okay, Lop Sao means grabbing hand. So, in this case, when someone grabs you, you use the Huen Sao to break the grip of the grab before they can do anything else. This is another one of the spontaneous type movements that you see in Jeet, Jeet, Kune. Just an immediate reaction. Okay, so as soon as you grab, you respond with the Huen Sao, break the grip, and counterattack. Okay, Mark's going to join me now. We're going to demonstrate this Lop Sao switch drill. Okay, once again, Lop Sao means grabbing hand. Okay, so we're going to square up, square stance. We're going to engage with me, in this case, in the Fook Sao position. Okay, Mark's arms are going to be pointed straight ahead. His wrists are going to be straight, and his hands are going to be, his fingertips are going to be lined up vertically. Okay, so what he's going to do, he's going to attempt an inner lock or inner grab. Notice how he turns from the waist and hips as he does this. Okay, now, I use the Huen Sao to break his grip, and I come out on the inside. Now he's going to do the same thing. We'll drop this arm so you can see it clearly. Now he's going to do the same thing with the other side, and I use the Huen Sao to break the grip and come out on the inside. Okay, so now we're both on the inside, okay? Or both of my hands, rather, are on the inside. Okay, so what I have to do is the same thing that Mark did. Okay, now, Mark's going to do it again, then I'm going to do it again. Okay, now starting off, it's best to go right, left, or left, right on this drill. That way it keeps it simple and it helps you to learn the mechanics. But once you get it down, it doesn't matter which side goes first. And you break the timing and you break the rhythm. Notice how the Huen Sao is used immediately to break the grip from the inner lock. Notice how we vary the sides now. Vary which side goes first. Notice once again, this is a finesse drill. This is very, very simple. Nothing hard about it. In the early stages, we perform it very slow. But once you get it down, do it quick like you see us doing it here. Notice from the inner lock, comes from the waist and the hips, not the arm, raising the elbow and pulling like this. That's a bad habit. You want to learn to keep those elbows in and down. So if you use the waist and the hips, when you do that inner lock, it will assist you in keeping the elbow in and down. Also, it makes the drill flow much better. Okay, that's the basic drill. Now, application of the drill in a self-defense situation. If someone were to walk up to me, now this has to be a grab on the same side of the center line for you to use this in the way that it's used in the drill. I'll show you how it's applied against the same side and if the opposite side grabs. Okay, it's very rare that someone would just walk up to you and grab your wrist, but it does occur. So, if Mark were to walk up to me and grab my wrist, I could use that Huen movement to break the grip. Immediately when he grabs, I circle and break the grip. Okay? Now, in a combative situation, I would attack while I was breaking the grip. Or, I would break the grip, check the arm, and counter immediately. What if he grabbed and started to punch with his free hand? Okay, in this case, I use a Bong Sao to deflect. Okay, then I turn to a Tan Sao and press, breaking the grip, and then I counter punch. So what we have here is this. He grabs, he punches, I use Bong Sao. I roll, I press, I counter punch. Okay, now just a simple grip release though. Right there, just that simple. Use that Huen Sao to break the grip. Okay, if he grabs with the other hand, okay, now this is a cross-center grab. I Huen Sao the other way. From this position, Pak Sao to the elbow, I can drive a palm into the jaw. Okay, or punch. Or punch to the solar plexus. He grabs, I use the Huen Sao, the circling wrist. This is also an application for a Tan Sao here. Okay, Tan Sao. Break the grip and punch. Okay, so when he grabs here, Huen Sao, circling wrist, break the grip. Okay, once again, counter punch while you break the grip, or if he grabs and starts to punch with the other hand, use the Bong, press, and hit. Bong, press, and hit. Okay, so this is some basic application. Now, once again, if he grabs with the other hand, you're still circling the wrist, but you're using the Tan Sao movement from this point to apply the pressure, which breaks the grip. So, circle the wrist, Tan Sao, pop, and hit. Thank you, Mark. That's basic application of this particular movement. In the next sequence, we'll take you further into energy and sensitivity. In this segment, we're going to demonstrate what we refer to as the cross energy drill. This is where energy comes in a cross pattern, a cross line on your attack. So in other words, you're dealing with your opponent's defensive energy in this case. I will fire a straight punch onto the line, and my opponent will block me either this way or this way, and I have to respond to that energy. Okay, Mark's going to join me now, and we'll demonstrate how we train for this ability, and then we'll show you the practical application of this drill. Okay, Mark's going to stand square. Okay, he's going to hold his arms up to the side. All right, now, like so. All right, back up just a little bit, Mark. Okay, all right, now I'm going to assume my fighting on guard position. Okay, now, what Mark's going to do. We start off doing this right, left, right, left, right, left, like so. So we'll show you that first, and then we'll break it up and show you what it looks like when you break the timing, break the energy, break the feed. Okay, now Mark's going to come in with the right arm. Okay, when the right arm comes down, I immediately yield to that energy, dissolving it as I hinge around, pop the arm, and fire a back fist at his head. Okay, slow. This trains what we in Jeet Kune Do refer to as hinging at the elbow. Treat the elbow as if it were the hinge to a door, okay? It's the hinge to a door, okay? He's going to shut the door, and you're going to open it back that much quicker. The faster he shuts it, the faster you open it back. Okay, notice how there's no wasted energy here. Okay, now the other side, when it comes down, it contacts mid-forearm. I roll, dissolve, back fist using a Lop Sao this time. Okay, so when he comes down with the right, I use a Pak Sao. When he comes with the left, I use a Lop Sao. Okay? Notice, once again, I dissolve the energy with a Bong Sao type movement. Okay, but notice the hinging action at the elbow. Notice how close I stay to his arm. Notice how close my elbow stays to his elbow. Okay, so when he comes down on that side, I simply dissolve the energy, hinge, and back fist. Like so. Okay. Now, we're going to gradually speed it up just a little bit so you can see it applied quicker, and then we'll show you how we actually do the drill. Okay. Now, once again, this is like he's opening the door or closing the door, and you're either closing it or opening it back as quick as you can. So in this case, we'll look at it like the door is closed. He opens it, you're going to slam it again just as quick as you can. Okay, so he opens the door, you close it back. Or, if it helps you more to look at it like this, he closes the door and you open it back. Okay? Okay, so he can open the door and you can shut it back, or he can close the door and you can open it back. Just whatever helps you best, thinking up here to imagine that particular movement. Okay, so I'm in the on guard position. He comes down. I lock, hinge, and back fist. Notice how I yield to his energy immediately. This is yielding energy. All right, so he presses, I yield. Then I spring back in. Okay, so you're seeing a little bit of everything here. He presses, I yield, and I spring back in. All right, now we're going to pick this up a little bit with this side, as I said earlier, so you can see how it's applied in a quicker situation. Okay, now we're going to go left arm. This is what it looks like from looking at this straight on. If you're in the on guard position, left arm coming down, right arm coming down, left arm coming down, right arm coming down. So the movement is across and down, across and down, across and down, across and down, like so. Okay, so at this time we're going to begin the drill. Mark's going to go left arm, right arm, left arm, right arm. We'll show you what it looks like when done in that fashion. Okay. Now we're going to take it a step further. This time, I don't know whether he's coming with the left arm or the right arm. I know it's going to be one or the other, but I don't know which. So this time, not only are we going to potentially break up the timing and the rhythm to the drill, but also the feed or delivery. Having a little fun here. Okay, thank you, Mark. I think you can see how effective that drill is. That's the cross energy drill. Okay, now, in an actual situation, what you would probably be dealing with would be a block, such as you see a karate practitioner deliver, like so. So if you were to punch and he were to block like this, you would have to react to that energy. Or if he were in the opposite lead, you were to punch and he were to block like this, you would have to react to that energy. Okay, so whether he's here, 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 or here, you're faced with an energy that you have to react to. Okay, Mark's gonna be the blocker in this case. I'll be the attacker, and I'll show you how I would react to this particular type of defense. Okay, move a little closer. Okay, please, no still photos from this part of the video. Mark would not want to be caught in print anywhere in this position. Okay, now, if I were to fire a punch and he were to block across, okay, there we have the cross part of the drill. That's why it's cross energy. He blocks across, okay? I pop immediately, and I'm in. So I punch, he blocks, I pop, and I'm in. Okay, now, if he were to block this way, now I have to react to that energy. I punch, he blocks, boom, I'm in. I punch, he blocks, boom, I'm in, okay? There you have the other part of the drill, the other portion of the cross energy. Notice the hinging action. Okay? He opens the door, I close it back. Again. Alright, now, opposite lead. Okay? Let's say I fire the punch. He blocks outside to in here. Okay? Once again, energy coming across the center line. Okay? I respond with Lop Sao and back fist. Once again, he opens the door, I shut it back. Speed it up a little bit. See how easy it is to follow up from there? Okay, now this time he's going to block here, okay? So he's coming inside to outside. I punch, he blocks, boom, okay? Okay, notice I dissolve the energy, pop, and come in with my back fist. Then if he were to fall through with that one, I simply follow through with something from there. Okay, so that's a little bit about practical application of that drill. The next drill that we're going to show you is the Harmonious spring drill. In this sequence, we're going to show you what's called a Harmonious spring drill. Now this drill can be done double arm or single arm. So we're going to show you both ways, and then we're going to show you the practical application of this drill. This is one of the drills that help you to take the center line. So this is a springing energy drill. So you learn to spring and take the center line. Okay, Mark's going to join me now, and we'll show you how this drill works. Okay, we start off in this position. Now, some instructors of Jeet Kune Do teach this drill with the hands here. I don't like to do this because here we've already formed the Jeet Sao. The Jeet Sao is already formed. I like to train my people to form the Jeet Sao as they go into motion, like so. To form the Jeet Sao as they move into it. Okay, so instead of starting here, I teach the drill starting from here. So you have to slide down and actually form the Jeet Sao as you go into position. Okay, Jeet Sao means jerking hand. You use the hooking end of the fingertips to hook your opponent's wrist right here at the crook of the thumb. So you can either go with the wrist or right here where the thumb, where this little knot comes up here, where this first joint of the thumb is located. Okay, so we can go here or we can go here. Okay, now, of course, application would have a lot to do with this. In a practical combat application, I may just have to go for the wrist or the crook of the thumb, just whatever is there. So it pays to learn both ways. If you're familiar with both ways, you're good to go either way. All right, now, this time we're going to use the wrist. Now, in this part of the drill, we use the wrist. We hook right at the wrist, okay? So I can go with either my left, my right, or both on this drill. Okay, to make it simple, we start off going right, left, right, left. Just make it simple. Okay, now, the way this works, okay, the way this works, we act like there's a spring right here, okay? There's a spring. Now, as I jet him down, I'm compressing that spring. When I release him, he flies forward, okay? So when I jet him down, I compress the spring right here. When I release him, he flies forward. Okay, so this is the springing energy. Also, I'm compressing my springs and preparing to release them, okay? So we both release at the same time. All right, now what we're trying to do here is for one or the other to occupy the center line. Okay, now in this case, the person on the inside is going to punch, and their punch is going to occupy the center line, forcing the other partner, the person on the outside, to punch outside the center line, therefore missing the target. Okay, so we're going to start this off kind of slow. All right, now we're just going to drop one hand, and I'll give you an idea of what you're looking at here. Then we'll demonstrate with one hand with the other side, and then we'll show you what it looks like together. Okay, so I'm going to form my Jeet. We're going to spring. Back up just a little bit. I'm going to form my Jeet. We're going to spring. I punch. He punches. He takes the center line, forcing me to the outside of the center line. See, I'm out here. He's right here. He's hit me. I'm out here. Okay? So, Jeet, spring. He occupies the center. On the other side, same thing. Jeet, spring. He occupies the center. Jeet, spring. He occupies the center. Jeet, spring. His punch takes the center line, forcing mine to the outside. Okay, so when we alternate, we've got right, left, 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 like so. Okay, now, in the case of a double, I'll double Jeet, spring loading both arms. I'll fly forward with a double bilgee. He'll fly forward with a double bilgee. So now we're training the finger jab. He'll take the inside, forcing me to the outside. with his double bilge. Okay. So, it's like so. Now, here, okay, he takes the inside, forcing me to the outside. So, here, 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 here. Okay, now, okay, back up just a little bit, okay. Now we're going to speed it up a little bit and show you what it looks like with some speed. Okay, that's when we double jut. Okay, then we can go in, we can break everything up. We either single jut with the right hand, single jut with the left hand, or double jut in no certain sequence, no certain order. So now we're going to break up the timing, the rhythm, and the sequence of delivery. Okay, that's how the drill is applied in a more freestyle fashion. Okay, then we have the single arm variation of the harmonious spring. Okay, in this case, you face each other in opposite lead. Okay, now, the person on the outside now takes the center, forcing the other person off center. Let's let them see another angle on that particular movement. Okay, I'm on the outside. I jut, we spring load, I fly forward, deflecting him to the inside. Now I have occupied the center, forcing him off. Turn a little bit more, please. Okay. Okay, this deflection applies what we refer to as sliding leverage. Okay. You've learned about this in an earlier tape, so I won't go into this in depth, but this is a good drill to learn to apply your sliding leverage. The contact reflex taking over once again for sliding leverage. Okay, so now we'll demonstrate the drill. Okay, from here, okay, I jut, spring load. Okay, now I can finger jab or straight punch. Okay, so I have an option here. I can finger jab or straight punch. In that earlier tape, you learned that sliding leverage takes place with a finger jab or a straight punch. Okay, so here's a good chance to learn to apply that with the proper context, proper energy. Okay. Okay. Now, to see this applied in a practical situation, you just have to sort of be able to imagine some things occurring. Okay, let's say that Mark's in the left lead, Let's say he fires a punch at me right at my face with his lead hand. I deflect that punch inward. I jut and I hit. So I'm loading my spring and I'm launching into the attack. Okay, now we talked about the sliding leverage earlier. Against the same attack, you see the sliding leverage bilji and the sliding leverage chung choi, or vertical fist punch. Okay, now that's basic practical application of this movement. Now, notice that in the previous sequence, I let Mark punch first, okay? What if I punched first and he blocked me here and went static on me right at this point? Okay, watch what happens. Okay? Using, once again, the jut with a spring load, I take the center and land the attack. A little closer. Notice here, I added a rear hand trap to check his arm. Okay, now I'm using a punch, but I could also punch from a bilji or bilji from a punch. So it could go either way. That's another example of practical application of the Harmonious spring drill. In the next sequence, we'll show you what we call the bridge punching drill. In this sequence, we're going to show you what we call the bridge punching drill. Okay, a lot of times someone will throw a punch at you and you will punch right onto the same line, occupying the line, forcing them off. You take the center with your punch and you take them, okay? You take the center. You may throw one punch, you may fire two punches. You may fire with the rear hand first, you may fire with the lead hand first. But at any rate, this is what we refer to as bridge punching, because when you contact your opponent's arm, you form a bridge with his energy, okay? And at this time, you feel his energy, you know where he's going, you know what you got to do. That is, if you've worked enough on this. So, Mark's going to join me now. We'll show you how this bridge punching works. Okay, now we're going to square up, okay? Back up just a hair. Okay, he's going to extend a punch. Okay, I'm going to extend a punch. Okay, now, what I'm going to do here, we're going to start off very slow. All right, the way this drill works, one person extends a punch, and the other person punches onto the line. Okay, occupying the line, forcing the other person's punch off. So if he extends his punch first, okay, notice how the other hand's always here. It's ready to punch. I can punch here. Okay, then he'll punch, then I'll punch, 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 then he'll punch, back and forth, like so. Notice that we're occupying the center and making the bridge. Okay, now, everything that we've shown you up until now has been single punching. Okay, now we're going to insert some double punching and show you what it looks like with the double punching. Okay, this drill tightens up your rotation punching. Teaches you not to waste anything. Also, you could probably hear the friction from the arm contact. It's very good for toughening the skin, toughening the forearms. Okay, now, show you a practical application of this drill. Okay, if I'm in my fighting stance, in this case, let's say Mark's in a right lead. He fires a punch right at my head. Okay, using the bridge punching. Slowly, I punch forcefully onto the center, forcing his punch off, therefore mine lands. Let's show him a different angle on that. Right here. Okay, his punch comes. Okay, see where mine intersects with his arm? Then boom, I'm straight in. So his punch comes, I punch, I take the center. All right, now, still using this angle, we'll speed this up a little bit and show you what it would look like in actual combat. Okay? See how I just took the center using the bridging motion? Okay, now, that was bridging with my lead hand punch. Okay, everybody knows that the rear hand is a little bit further away, and we do not often advocate the use of the rear hand in Jeet Kune Do, but it is practical to learn to use the rear hand, because you never know what the situation may be, you never know where you may be, you never know what you might have to do based on the environment. Okay, so, in this case, move over just a little bit, okay? In this case, slowly, very slowly, I take the center with my rear hand punch. Like so. Okay, now, we'll speed that up a little bit, show you what it looks like when done a little bit faster. Okay, now, I'm going to demonstrate the double punching aspect of the bridge drill. Okay, he fires the punch here, okay, very slow. Okay, I fire the first punch, take the center, then the second one comes right in. So you got boom, boom, okay? Boom, boom, okay? Both of my punches take the center, okay? So this is double punching with the bridge drill. Okay, ready? Okay, notice the rotation. Okay, now watch this. When he fires the punch, this time I'm going to apply the rotation. A little bit closer. Okay, notice how one punch comes right over the other. This is what we refer to as Jip Chung Choi, or the vertical fist blast, also referred to as the straight blast. Okay, in the next segment, we'll take you a little bit further into these energy and sensitivity drills. In this segment, we're going to demonstrate a drill that we call the continuous Pak Sao Drill. Okay, now, in a combative situation, when we apply Pak Sao, we move forward and we pak as we hit. So, from here, I would move forward, pak and hit. Now, when I move forward and I deliver my pak, I push my opponent's lead arm into his body and in toward his center line. And I move and punch at the same time. Okay, now, in the continuous Pak Sao Drill, we start off at a certain distance, and we maintain that distance. I'll pak and punch, then my opponent or partner will pak and punch. Okay, notice the rotation of the punch. Okay, notice I drop in toward the center and then over the top. Drop in toward the center, over the top. That's very important in the execution of this drill. Mark will join me now, and we'll show you how the drill works, and then we'll demonstrate the practical application of the drill. Okay, a little bit closer. Okay, now we take a range here where our punch can't actually land. Okay, all right, a little closer. Okay, now I'm going to pak and punch. Now see, I can't actually hit him. Okay, now he's going to try to pak as close as he can to my elbow, and then he's going to punch. So the punching hand never opens. It stays closed all the time. Now, the common mistake that people make when they do this particular drill is to do this. See, they just punch. In, pull out, in, out, like that. That is not the correct way to use the drill. Okay, the correct way to work the drill is, as I stated earlier, pop, pop, punch. Okay, see how my fist drops? Now his comes in, I pop, now I'm over the top. His drops, he's over the top. Mine drops, I'm over the top. Trying to pop as close to the elbow as possible. Okay, now another thing this teaches, extend your punch. This teaches you to apply range with your Pak Sao. Okay? In other words, if I'm always training my Pak Sao from right here, I get used to this range, and then if he's not there, if he's back here, and I have to apply that Pak, and I'm used to applying it this close, then I get one of these little crappy Pak Saos like you see in a lot of these Jeet Kune Do books and on a lot of these other Jeet Kune Do tapes out there today, where the Pak is right here. Okay, now, in a practical combat situation, when I pop, I'm going to pin the arm to the body and push it in toward the center line. Okay? Because I know that if I run up against an experienced fighter and I pop right here, then I'm going to be hit with a jiao sao palm, what we call a running hand. Okay? Okay? Now, if I'm not sensitive to that, and see, this is where sensitivity comes in again. Okay? If I'm sensitive to that, when he comes around, I'm ready with something. Okay, and what we'd end up with would be something like that. Okay, where we got like here. In fact, that might be something I would do in a drawing situation. I might do that intentionally, knowing that he was going to go with a jiao, and that would open me up for further response. Okay, so this drill teaches you to reach with your Pak forward, to extend forward. A lot of people also incorrectly apply a Pak by going down with it, like so. The Pak should be straight in toward the center, toward the opponent's body, and it should land right at the elbow. That's very important. That's a very important aspect of the Pak Sao movement. Okay, so this drill teaches you to Pak correctly, it teaches you to extend your Pak, and it teaches you proper application of the energy. Now, by being able to deliver this continuously, if something goes wrong, we know it immediately, and we know we've got work to do. Okay, so now we'll demonstrate the drill without talking. You should understand what's going on now, so we'll just show you the drill. Okay, now, as you saw, we got going pretty quick there. So this also works the endurance aspect. Okay, now, practical application. Alright, if he attacks, I defend, then he tries to use a Pak. What I do, I shift back, just a little slight step and slide back. You can't see my feet right now, but if you saw the footwork tape, you know what a push shuffle is, or step and slide. So I do a slight step and slide back, and then I come right back in, okay? So it's step, slide back, step, slide forward. So I punch, he blocks, okay, move in a little bit. He blocks, he punches, okay? Notice I'm back and I'm in, okay? I punch, he blocks, I'm right back in with a punch of my own, okay? Now, if he initiates a punch, he contacts, then he pops, then I can be right on top of it because I felt it before. In my school, we have a saying, if you've been there before, you can go there again. Okay, that's a little bit of the practical application of this drill. In the next sequence, we'll show you what we call the continuous Lop Sao Drill. In this sequence, we'll demonstrate what we refer to as the continuous Lop Sao Drill. Okay, if I fire a punch and my opponent blocks, and I lop or grab and fire another punch and he blocks again, then I can lop that arm and pull it across the first arm and fire my second punch in. to complete the attack. Okay, now this continuous Lop Sao Drill teaches continuous motion. It trains you to go immediately for what we call the double lop in case of first lop failure. Okay, now this drill trains several aspects of the Lop Sao. Makes your Lop Sao much more effective. Mark will join me now and we'll demonstrate the basic function of the drill. Okay, now we start off engaged. Okay, notice we're square to each other. Okay, back up just a hair. Okay, notice we're square to each other. All right, now notice that we engage opposite, his right arm, my right arm, opposite sides of the center. So we engage right on the center line. Okay, now I'm going to rotate my wrist, lop, and punch. Okay, Mark's going to put a nice, tight defensive move in there. I'm going to lop that, I'm going to punch, he's going to roll through and put another defensive move. So, notice how I'm turning my waist and my hips into this. Get a little faster now. Okay, now this drill trains you to keep your movements tight. No wasted movement, no wasted energy. Okay, when I lop and I punch, I have to actually form the punch. That's very important. I can't just go like this. Okay? I form the punch. Okay, so this teaches me to grab quickly from a closed fist position. Notice, elbow coming in and down, not out. Okay, at the completion of the lop, his wrist should be right in front of my solar plexus. Okay? At the completion of the lop. Okay, so this teaches me to form my Lop Sao movement very quickly. To grab from a closed fist very quickly. Okay? Now, notice on Mark's side, notice what he's doing. This teaches him to hinge tightly from the elbow and respond quickly to a second or third attack. So, both partners increase sensitivity and speed here. Both partners get a good overall skill increase from this drill. Okay, practical application. If I were to punch and Mark were to block my first punch with his lead hand, I lop. Okay? Now, you see what's happened here? Okay, let's go back to the drill for a second. Square. Okay, back to the application. Here. Okay, see the similarity? The only difference is we're in fighting stances now instead of squared up. Okay, so if I apply the drill to this situation, I pull this arm down across this arm and then immediately release and fire my follow-up punch. Okay, so this is how we apply this drill in a practical application, a practical situation. Okay, I punch, he blocks, I punch, he blocks, okay, I hit him with the second punch. Okay, so we got okay, now this can be a straight punch, can be a hooking type punch, okay, like so. It can be an elbow smash, okay, it can be a back fist, all depending on where I am at the time of the delivery. It could even be a palm smash. One of my first instructors, Joseph Cowles, who trained originally under Bruce Lee in Seattle, that was one of his favorite follow-ups from the lop, was to fire a palm smash directly into the chin. Okay? Not only could you go with a vertical palm, but a side palm. Okay, so that's some practical application of that particular drill. When we come back, we'll close. I'd like to thank you for joining us in Junfan Jeet Kune Do Complete, Volume 7, Energy Sensitivity 1. In this tape, we've covered many of the basic drills necessary for you to have a good understanding of energy and sensitivity training. In the next volume, we'll take you further into energy and sensitivity training. You'll see drills such as Dan Chi Sao or single arm sticking and Siang Chi Sao or double arm sticking. You'll also see drills such as the Bong Sao, Lop Sao roll, the Tai Chi push hands. We have another drill that we call the Tan Sao wedge drill. All of these drills are designed to improve your understanding of energy and sensitivity and to develop your contact reflex. These skills are necessary for upcoming tapes on trapping hands. If you do not have the energy and sensitivity skills necessary for the trapping hand development, all you'll have is just the mechanics of trapping. You will not have the energy and sensitivity that you need to really make the trapping work. So, this tape is a starting point. The next tape will take you even further. Then the following two tapes will be on trapping hands. Then the tape after that, we'll go back to energy and sensitivity with what we call Siang Chi Sao or double arm sticking, and we'll take you into the areas of trapping and grappling from Siang Chi Sao. That's a more advanced method of training your energy and sensitivity. Okay. Anyone interested in ordering more tapes in this series, you can do so by writing to Junfan Jeet Kune Do Complete, 267 West Valley Avenue, Suite number 223, Birmingham, Alabama, zip code 35209. If you're interested in ordering more tapes, they're $34.95 plus $4 shipping each, unless you're a member of the United States Jeet Kune Do Alliance, in which case the tapes would be $29.95 plus $4 shipping and handling. When the entire series is completed, there will be 20 volumes. You'll want to obtain all 20 volumes because each one is necessary to make your understanding of the system complete. If you're interested in joining the United States Jeet Kune Do Alliance, you can write to me, Sifu Lamar Davis, at the previously mentioned address, or you can call area code 205-664-5425. I am available for travel anywhere in the United States for seminars, and also you may come to my training camps. If you're interested in information on the training camps or seminars, write to the previous address or call the previously mentioned number, and I will respond immediately. Okay, I've enjoyed working with you so far in this series, and if this is the first tape that you've seen, the 6 tapes that we made previously are necessary to further your understanding of what we're doing. So, if you're interested in those tapes, please call or write, and I'll send you some information. At this time, I would like to thank you again for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Junfan Jeet Kune Do Complete, Volume 8, Energy Sensitivity 2.